Hi, Zoe Routh, and welcome to Thought Nuggets. This is my weekly-ish insight into all things people stuff. And I'm just back from 5 days with a community of thought leaders that I've been part of for the last 5 years. And it's always an astounding and provocative experience. It's a community of experts and consultants who gather every 3 months to review how our work is going and how to plan and get ahead in our work coming up. And out of that experience came some deep reflection on what game are you playing? And I think this is a really useful construct to help us play more lightly and easily with our work and our lives. So the game that we play in Thought Leaders, at least when we start out as participants in the community, is all structured around a made-up game of that includes revenue, different stages of revenue or different levels of revenue associated with a martial arts belt color theme. So it's a nice metaphor to incorporate into how we can grow our practice and have more impact. So it's a loose construct. We use revenue as a way of measuring progress. It's not the be-all and end-all. And it really is the game of achievement. For someone who's addicted to achievement, like many of us are, it can be a challenging game. We can get really hooked up on the meaning of progress or lack thereof against the belt levels or the income targets. And we kind of lose, it's possible to lose a sense of what the game is really about when we do that. The purpose of the game is to help fine-tune and focus and do better work in the world so we can help more people achieve their goals. That's the whole purpose of the game. So I think it's a useful thing to remember when we choose games is remind ourselves why we're doing it. There is a shift once we hit the later stages of the model that we go from achievement game, like well done, we've managed to master the game and are able to have more impact and have more clients and create more business, to what game were we playing next? And in the discussions we had with the senior leaders of the community, the next game is all about freedom. And I love this. I love this as a construct because I can very easily fall into the traps of the achiever game. And it's something that I shared a lot last year at the Edge of Leadership Unconference and one that I highlight in my Amplifiers program. The freedom game, there's many different aspects of it. It could be financially free. It could be lifestyle free, as in life by design. Or it can be mentally free so that you're free of dogma and routine and rituals that no longer serve. It's a fun game, and I'm exploring a lot of that this year. In the Amplifiers group, which is a group of diverse leaders from across different sectors, we are playing the Amplifiers game. And this is a radical shift from the achiever game. So as leaders, when we play the achiever game, this is all about having really strong goals, setting plans, and knocking them out of the park. That's the achiever game. It's sexy, and it's what we all sign up for when we get into business and work, really. We're very familiar with that game. And yet it has a dark side, which I alluded to, which is that we can hang on too strongly to the outcome as opposed to the process. The other thing about the game is that it's very limiting. From a leadership point of view, if we are stuck in the achiever game, we can be blind to the broader context. And this is what I want to do and aim to do with the Amplifiers program, because what got us to achiever is not going to help solve the current contextual challenges that we have in leadership. If you look at the coronavirus, we cannot solve that problem from an achiever mindset. The achiever mindset would be like, right, here's a virus. How can we knock it out? Let's find a solution and apply it. Yes, and yes, all that needs to happen. We need to find a virus and we need to find solutions to it. We need to look at the complexity that's involved in solving the problem and also the ripple effects that it's going to have. And you can hear some of that conversation happening. It's like, what's going to be the impact on the economy? What's going to be the impact on different industries? I think other questions to ask are, what's it going to have an impact on how we see ourselves in the world, how we see ourselves as a collective humanity? How are we going to look at problems in the future? Not saying that, well, in the past, an achiever might be, oh, this is a Chinese problem, or this is a localized problem to a particular country, whereas it's a humanity problem and our human systems are contributors to it. The fact that we are such a global interconnected population now through internet, through easy global travel, means that we need to create different ways of thinking and practice as leaders in the world. And this is what we explore in Amplifiers. And really, it's the game of ripple effect. And we explore that from our own localized construct, where we sit in terms of our businesses. And we look at the ripple effect through being able to master and explore culture, like organizational culture. What's our strategy? What's our ripple effect strategy in our businesses? How we manage change through that process, how we lead change, and how we lead conversations that elevate the practice of leadership across the business and for ourselves and for the people that we work with. That's the Amplifier game. I think it's a really fun and challenging game that's actually really needed in the leadership space right now. So that's the kind of game I'm playing. I think there's other games that we can play, and I think this is where I challenge you to have a think about this. We could play the self-awareness game. So I met a couple of people who are deeply into meditation and exploring who they are in their inner world and letting go of past experiences so they can have new experiences. So there's a game of self-awareness. There's the happiness game, which I think is a really fun game to play in terms of letting go of what rules you need to have in place in order to be happy. And that's a practice. I like that game. There's the peace game. How can you have more peace in your life? That's also a good one. Then there's the expert game. Maybe you are at the stage of your leadership growth where you want to develop a whole bunch of expertise in one or more particular areas. And you're going hard and deep on learning heaps more about that. And then there's the mastery game. Maybe there's a particular skill or practice or focus area that you are dedicating a lot of time and effort to in order to become more masterful at it. And this could be professionally. Maybe you're putting some effort into being a great public speaker, or maybe you're putting some effort into your coaching skills so you can be a better coach at work. Or maybe you're putting it into one of your hobbies. Maybe you're putting a lot of effort into learning guitar or a martial arts practice or something. Here's another game. There's the ease game. How can you have more ease in your life? So there's an infinite number of games that you can choose to play, and I think it's useful if we choose a game to play rather than just showing up and doing the default routine. When we choose a game and when we start playing it, I think there's some really important questions to keep in mind. The first one is, does this game serve you? At some point, the Achiever game failed or started to fail me because I would self-sacrifice for the achievement game. It became all about the targets, and I would self-sacrifice time, energy, relaxation, a lot of other things in order to meet those targets. That's one of my Achilles heel. I've been susceptible to it from day dot, and it's something I'm extremely aware of. So I think we need to be careful of how we're playing the game and keep asking the question, is this still serving? Another question to ask is it serving others? Because everything we do has a ripple effect, and if we're not mindful of that, we can selfishly play these games that have detrimental effect on other people. So the third question is it having harmful effects on other people and for yourself? I think those are good qualifiers to keep in mind, because we can get distracted by the game and forget that it is a game. So I think the rules around choosing a game and playing it is play all out and play lightly. And remember, it's just a game. The other tips around choosing a game, I think, are choose a game that helps you either be, think, do, or feel, or all of the above, and do more of that. So an example, and then pick a qualifier for that. Let me give you an example. So in the Amplifier game that I'm playing, I want to be more free. So I want to be more free. That was free is the qualifier. I want to think more deeply. So that's my qualifier there. And I want to do more easy. Bad grammar, but still works. And I want to feel more happy. Those are the 4 mini games within the Amplifier games that I'm playing. I'd love to hear what game you're playing. And if you have a question about that or you want to explore it further, it'd be great to have a conversation with you on our Facebook page. And the link will be in the podcast show description, just in whatever app you're listening to there. The link there to the podcast episode will be there to the Facebook page, or you can go to Facebook and put in the Zoe Routh Leadership Podcast and it should pop up for you. What other announcements? Yes. I am running an information session called The Future of Leadership, which is about the future of leadership and a little bit about the Amplifiers program in Brisbane on the 31st of March and in Canberra on the 3rd of April. If you want to come along to either of those sessions, it's a morning tea, 8:30 till 10. We do have a few spots left in Brisbane. They're almost all gone. It's a very small little group, and it's a free invitation, so it's a free event. You're welcome to come along. Go to zoerouth.com, click on events, and you should be able to find the link to those particular events, which would be great to come and meet you in person. It'd be awesome. Okay. I think that's everything. Oh, good. Yes. If you missed it last week, go back and listen to the interview with Digby Scott. It was one of my favorite interviews. The man talks in poetry. It was a pleasure to tell him that and have him be surprised by that. He is a deep thinker. He has a wonderful manner, and he cares deeply about the world. So he's playing an amplifier game with his Changemakers group. So if you're interested in leading big change, I think go ahead and listen to that interview. Coming up this week, we have another expert, Chris Dyer, on culture, and it was a really interesting interview about different experiences of culture and some of his awesome tips on how to implement incentives that don't turn people into dog-eat-dog maniacs. So that's all coming up this week on the podcast. So that episode will be out on Thursday. Love to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful week. We are into autumn here in Australia and heading into spring in the Northern Hemisphere. So wherever you are in the world, live well and lead well, and have a good one.